2.1 kilowatt hours. Nissan gave the hybrid Rogue a battery that small, and its gas engine never turns a wheel. It makes its own electricity as it goes. There is no plug and no cable. This hybrid reaches America's Rogue late in 2026. We filmed Europe's car. 2 electric motors do all of the driving. That layout gives it real advantages and one clear weakness. Hold on to that thought. Subscribe now, because that one engineering decision shapes everything this family car does well. It also decides which version you should buy. 150 kilowatts drives the front axle, 100 more sits at the back, and they never share a shaft. Together, they make 213 horsepower, and the system is called E-Force. It replaces the drive shaft entirely. 0 to 62 takes 7 seconds flat through one single speed reduction gear and no transmission at all. Because the rear motor answers alone, E-Force shifts torque across the axle in roughly 1/1000th of a second. Nissan also uses those motors to trim the car's pitch under braking, something reviewers consistently single out as unusual. This particular trim rides on 19-inch alloy wheels wrapped in 235-section tires. Ground clearance is 7.7 inches and it weighs a little over 4,000 pounds. That weight matters more than the numbers suggest. Nissan resisted the urge to shout here. The shapes stay calm, the surfaces stay simple, and all of the real drama sits underneath the skin. Refinement is where it slips. Testers measure 69 decibels at 70 miles an hour, a few above the class best. Now the engine, because this is the part buyers argue about most, it is a 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder. It can physically change its own compression ratio while it is running, sliding anywhere between 8:1 and 14:1. And every bit of that cleverness goes into one job only: spinning a generator. It never sends a single pound-foot to the road, not once, not ever. Which sounds like a party trick until you understand why it saves fuel, and why, on one particular road, it does the opposite. Freed from the wheels, the engine simply sits at its most efficient revs and stays there, whatever your right foot is doing. In town, that is close to perfect. The motors do everything, and the engine barely wakes up. No EPA number exists yet. When it lands, every American one will be all-wheel drive. Europe's car claims about 36 combined, and a long highway run drops it well under. And that gap is not an accident. It is built into how the system works. Inside, though, the argument gets a great deal easier for Nissan to win. Real rotary dials for the climate control, with proper physical buttons underneath the screen. Drive modes live on their own knurled wheel, and the selector falls under your hand. Nissan did not chase the touchscreen fashion here. Wood effect trim crosses the console, and the padding reaches further down the doors than expected. The quilted leather is standard on this trim, and the stitching is real, not molded in. 2 12.3-inch screens sit here. 1 instrument cluster, 1 central touchscreen, both crisp. For 2026, Nissan finally added Google built-in, so Maps and Assistant now live in the car without a phone attached. A head-up display, a Bose stereo, and a camera that shows the hood as though it were glass. Now, the weakness. Ask for full power, and the engine climbs to a fixed high note and holds it. Your speed rises, the engine note does not. Owners describe it as a drone. Reviewers agree it wears thin quickly. On the highway, there is a deeper problem. Every mile means 2 energy conversions, not 1. Honda's CR-V hybrid does the same from 35,600. But above about 50 miles an hour, Honda clutches its engine straight to the front wheels. Nissan never can. That is the real trade, and it is the one thing to weigh before you sign. Space was never in doubt. 36 cubic feet behind the seat swallows a stroller and the groceries. Europe offers 7 seats. America skips the 3rd row, so the Rogue seats 5. The gas Rogue starts under $30,000. Buy the SV. It keeps the real dials and the space, and it undercuts a loaded Platinum by about $9,000. Walk past the top trim, and if that highway question still worries you, our Honda CR-V review is next.